afternoon, good evening. Good evening. I hope you're doing well as well as what we got here. Addiction to Ascension. Addiction to Ascension. Wow, I love that name. I hope you're all doing well. June Allen here, your racial sobriety mentor. I am here and I teach black women how to heal from the impact of racism with racial sobriety and personal empowerment. So today I'm really excited, super excited, because my new program, Living in Love, is live, and tomorrow is the first class. Tomorrow's the first class. So I thought I'd jump on this evening and just kind of give you a bit more of an in-depth, I mean, I've talked a lot about the topics and all of that kind of stuff, but today I really wanted to jump on and just give you answer questions and just kind of talk about any of the ins and outs. I've had a few people that have inboxed me with a few questions, so I thought this would be a really good opportunity to kind of jump on and talk a bit more specifically about kind of like the whats and the whys and the wheres and all of that kind of stuff around the program. So for those of you that don't know me, I have been in this game since 2009. I've been in recovery since 2009, and when I talk about addiction to addiction to self-hate and racial sobriety and all this stuff that I talk about, it's because my recovery is an addiction. My background is I went into 12-step recovery in 2009 off the back of a difficult relationship, painful relationship. And I was able to really unpick what was going on for me and what I needed to do. I always struggled with relationships, and so I thought, you know what, the common denominator is me, and I needed to go and sort it out. So I went into recovery and did the 12 steps. It was an amazing experience. But what was missing was the cultural context. I didn't understand how to incorporate being a black woman and actually doing this type of work. I didn't understand how to have those sorts of conversations. I didn't have the language for it or anything like that. So I just then became obsessed with kind of finding out about why racism, how that kind of incorporated into my healing practice. Why was it that I saw that black people behaved a certain way, and was it to do with the trauma from slavery? Does that is that kind of incorporated in what I'm doing today? And I had loads and loads of questions. And was my addiction, somehow related to the fact that, slavery, racial trauma, even the stuff that's happening today, is it related to that? I had so many questions and so many things, and I just became obsessed with finding out about all of that stuff. So, and it is, I unraveled a lot, and obviously a lot of it is, yes, it was related to it. Yes, there is a reason, there is, the whole impact of racism and how that kind of, how a lot of the racial trauma and a lot of the unhealed pain in ourselves and in our families and in our communities is a lot of the reasons why so many of us as black people struggle with relationships, that struggle with addiction, struggle with mental health issues. And a lot of people don't really want to have those conversations. They're like, oh, slavery was years ago and all the rest of it. But there is more and more evidence coming out now that, trauma can be passed down through the generations. It can be passed down in our DNA and all of that kind of stuff. So it's important to explore all of that. So I've been talking about a lot of this stuff for the last sort of 2, 3, 4 years. And I've learned so much, and I'm so grateful to be in this position, to be able to be doing this work, because I love what I do. And, I've been able to make a real difference, not just in my own life and as a parent and stuff like that, but also, in the lives of other people that relate to a lot of the stuff that I talk about. Because a lot of the stuff that I talk about, I don't just spend the time just kind of talking about, white supremacy. I mean, there is some of it that I talk about that, but a lot of it is to do with the impact. So it's less on white supremacy as a system, but only in the context of how it impacts you as a black woman. And then I empower you with the tools and the strategies and all of that kind of stuff to be able to empower yourself, to be able to have better relationships, to be able to be a lot clearer in yourself with, how racism has impacted you and your family. and how you can actually begin to step out of the trauma and into your healing, into a place of empowerment. So yeah, I absolutely love what I do, and I'm just going to plug in my phone because I don't want to get cut off mid broadcast. So just give me a momento. Right, so today's topic, there we go. Today's topic is all about the Living in Love program. Oh no, this is starting to, okay. It's all about the Living in Love program. Let me just make sure that this thing doesn't, oh. Okay. Apologies for this, folks. This doesn't really want to seem to behave. Okay. Right. So there we go. So we're there now. So the whole thing is about the Living in Love program. So the Living in Love program is a 12-month subscription program where for the next 12 months we're going to be talking all about love. So this is the book. We're going to be talking, it's going to be used to anchor the topic of conversation. It's all about love by Bell Hooks. And we did another Bell Hooks book, Sisters of the Yam, in the last program, and it was really, really amazing. It was really amazing. But that was in person, and you know, it happened once a month. And it just wasn't, you know, even though the actual classes themselves, the ladies got a lot out of the classes individually, the feedback that I had was that they wanted more accountability. They just wanted to have a lot more. They needed more of it, really, to be happening more than once a month. And also, you know, I had a lot of people that were inboxing me saying, like, I don't live in London, I don't live in the UK, please can we come, and all the rest of it. So I've taken it online. So yeah, so this book, basically, we're going to be reading one chapter a month. And anyway, I'll go into all the details of it in a second, but I just wanted to just let you know that, you know, the living in, just the basics around the program. So what will happen is twice a month we are going to be you'll have like the live check-in sessions. So every other week, bi-weekly sessions, you will have an opportunity to just, we'll read one of the chapters or a portion of the chapter, because obviously there's one chapter a month, and then the ladies will have the opportunity to check in and all of that kind of stuff. So they'll be able to talk about their feelings. They'll be able to talk about what's going on for them in terms of the chapter, how they're getting on with the heart work. The heart work is, what I do is each chapter, this is why it's a lot more than a book club. It's not just a book club. It's a personal development program, basically. Yeah, it's just, it gives you an opportunity to really dig in. I actually take the chapter, I dissect it, I pull questions out of it, and all of that. And so it's so much more richer. It's so much more richer than a book club, because, you know, I also give them the opportunity to apply tools and all of that kind of stuff. Before I carry on, actually, if you know anybody that was interested in the Living in Love program, share it with them, tag them. Okay, let them know that you know, I'm doing a live Q&A. If they've got any questions that you want to ask, or if you've got any questions that you want to ask me during this, then drop them in the comments below. So yeah, so it's going to happen on the actual live check-in sessions are going to be bi-weekly. That's every 2 weeks. Okay, so in those sessions in particular, if you look at the broadcast I did, I think it was either yesterday or the day before yesterday, I did an absolute full breakdown of everything that happens in those live sessions. We do feelings check-ins. We do we learn about the characteristics of self-hate. We look at the 12 types of love. We're not just talking about romantic love. There's so many different types. So we're going to talk about the 12 types of love. There's a preamble that actually anchors us into the space. We do cultural meditations, cultural affirmations. We give you the tools as well. I give you the tools for sacred self-love, so that you can really have the actual tools that you need to be able to live in love. You know, when I talk about living in love, I'm actually going to give you the tools, the rituals that you need to be doing on a daily basis in order to not just understand why you feel like your life is loveless, but also what you can be doing in order to attract and manifest and nurture a life that has a lot more love in it. And then also we talk about the promises of living in love, of self-love, what that looks like. So then you'll know there's so many different things in the sister circle, but really you need to watch the previous video that I did about the specific sister circle itself, because it really breaks all of that down. So on top of that, there's going to be masterclasses. There's going to be one masterclass a month as well, because what happens is when we have the circles, sometimes there are topics that come up that that are really important for, you know, the ladies. Kind of sometimes they all talk about the same thing. Some things in the topic some things in the chapter might trigger similar feelings and thoughts and stuff like that. So sometimes there are things in the session, because obviously the sister circle is only a 90-minute check-in session, so there's only so much time that we have to be able to talk about stuff. So sometimes I'll take the topics that come up that the ladies raise inside of the circle. If we don't have enough time to actually work through it in the session itself, then I will create a separate masterclass that I will actually go through and give more tools and share more deeply and really explore that topic in a lot more detail that I think is going to help the ladies around that particular topic of the month. So I tend to, you know, one of the reasons that you know, I'm going to be leaving the masterclass topics until more towards the end of the month is because I want to see what topics actually come up as part of the sister circle. Now this month, as part of December's one, I have actually put the topic in, and we are actually going to be doing some visioning. We're going to be doing some visions. So at the end of the day, I want you to be really clear about not just how you define love, but actually what you want, because a lot of the times we're not getting the love that we want because we're not being clear about what we want. We don't understand what love is. For whatever reason, we don't understand what love is, and then we're struggling to actually to say what we need, and that comes up a lot. That comes up a lot when I talk to people about this. That, you know, they say that they want to be loved, or they say they want to experience more love, but then they don't really have a definition for themselves. They don't really know what they need. They don't know how they want to be loved. So being clear about that, and actually understanding what the 12 types of love are, number one, and then secondly, to actually define what it is for them, and then to set goals. Define what love is in terms of the goals that you want to set. So we're going to be setting some heart-centered goals. So that masterclass is going to be towards the end of December. So that's going to be a really nice entry into the new year, when we're going to be clear about what we're going to be doing in terms of our visioning and all the rest of it. And then as we go through each month and each chapter in the book, then obviously we have something to anchor. Something to anchor the work that we're doing, and we can, you know, obviously we'll use the sessions and the live circle sessions and stuff like that to be able to you know, to stay accountable as well. That's another reason why I'll be spending more time you know, in the circles and stuff like that. We're having more than once a month, because we want to be able to stay accountable. There'll be empowerment emails and stuff like that go out. Yeah, but obviously it's important to remember as well that that there are different layers. There are different layers, okay, which I'll go into that in a little while. So that's just kind of like a little bit around what the Living in Love program is, and what you can expect inside the sister circle. So if you want any of the information that I'm talking about, you can click the link in the bio, go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net, and all of the information is there. Okay, all of the information is there. So let me go on to the next bit. So let me just talk a little bit about the schedule for December. So the schedule for the December is tomorrow. We've got the first sister circle itself. You don't have to have read the book. You don't have to have read the book before you come to the circle, because we'll actually be reading the actual chapter live in the circle itself. Obviously, if you've got the book, you've bought the book, great, because then obviously you can do your own kind of thinking and all the rest of it. But we are actually going to be reading the book in the actual session as well. And there's normally other women in the circle that have got the book as well. So if you can, you know, you can still come. You don't have to have read the whole book. So tomorrow's session, we're going to be reading the preface and the introduction, which is called Touched by Love, which is just kind of anchoring the conversation and talking about, you know, how she's going to be talking about it. And there's some beautiful stories that she's given in there, just about her experience in just kind of thinking about lovelessness in black women and stuff like that, which is really, really sad for me to read, but also really hopeful, because when we start to begin to talk honestly about this stuff and about our experience of love or lovelessness, that's when we can really start to change things. So, you know, there will be times during the program when, you know, we will feel sad, we'll feel vulnerable and stuff like that, but it is really important to just know that there's also hope, because you're going to be getting tools. You're not going to be doing this by yourself. It is a safe space, because the space is very boundaried when it comes to, you know, when we have sister sharing time and stuff like that, where the women get an opportunity to check in. And yeah, those check-in times are boundaried. So there are very, very strong boundaries around not commenting on other people's shares, and just making sure that, obviously, because a lot of us were raised in homes where it wasn't safe for us to speak up or ask for our needs to get met. And so, you know, making sure that space is really, really safe, so that people are not shamed for speaking their truth and stuff like that. And so all the ladies having their own sacred time is important. It's important that the space is safe for that. So, and this is one of the things that came up from the previous circle that I did, actually. A lot of the women did feel that it was a safe space because of that, because it was boundaried and because people had the opportunity to share without feeling judged. And it was very much a case of, you know, feeling like, you know, it was a really beautiful sisterhood space. It was a really beautiful sisterhood space. So, yeah, it was really boundaried and stuff. So, you know, that's really, really important. And it's going to be the same online as well. So, yeah, that's what we're going to be doing in tomorrow's one. And then obviously 2 weeks time, we are going to be doing chapter 2, which is all about giving love words. And that's when we're going to be talking about defining what love is, and we're going to be talking about the importance of feelings and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, so that's kind of the second one. And then at the end of the third week, I think it's the 27th. I think it's the 27th of December. I'll have to check the dates, but when you go onto the website, you'll see all the proper dates and everything in there anyway. We were going to be doing the live masterclass, as I said, so a vision of love, and that session is all going to be about visioning and setting heart-centered goals and all of that kind of stuff. So that is the schedule for December. Okay, do you know what, let me just give you the actual proper dates before I go on, because then you'll know. That's the point, isn't it, of giving you the dates in December. Alright, so let me just go on to my Google Calendar. Okay. If anybody has got any other questions or whatever that they want me to answer, just drop them in the comments. And yeah, I'll be able to answer them. So yeah, so we've got... Okay, so yeah, so tomorrow the 11th is the first one. The second circle is on the 18th, and the somebody dropping my commentary is essential. Oh, you're welcome. And the masterclass is going to be on, is the 27th, Friday the 27th, because the week after that you've got Christmas Day, Boxing Day. So the Friday the 27th is when I'm going to be doing the masterclass. Okay, so write those down in your diary. If you for whatever reason you can't show up live, obviously for the actual live sister circles itself, you will still get the heart work. You'll still get a PDF with all of the questions and the live streams and all of that kind of stuff. And so you can still do the work if for whatever reason you can't show up to the actual sister circle live. Again, with the masterclass as well, you get a replay of the masterclass as well, so you can still participate. And then obviously if you've got any further questions or anything that you need to answer or anything like that, you can drop me an email if you've got any other questions or anything like that. So, you know, if you're not able to attend live, it's not a problem. You will get a replay of the masterclass and the actual heart work, the questions that I pull out of the chapter and stuff like that. Okay, so that is your December schedule. So I've actually thrown in a couple of bonuses as well, actually, around this. If you go onto the website, there's a holiday, you can get a holiday boundaries ebook. Obviously at this time of year, it's very difficult for a lot of people to be able to navigate you know, the dysfunction in our families, you know, those family members that you don't particularly want to spend time with, people putting you under pressure to do this, that and the other, and it's just uncomfortable. It's just uncomfortable. So there's an ebook that I've included as well, that talks to you about how to set boundaries, how to navigate difficult family members and all of that kind of stuff. So that's also included as part of the bonus. Also, there's a 7-day reset experience, which gives you the opportunity to you know, teach you how to actually set up your daily rituals, your daily love rituals. So how to you know, how to manage your time, how to explore your relationship with time, how to set up your meditation and do body check-ins and all of that kind of stuff. Because if you're going to be doing this for the next 12 months, and if you want to really commit to living in love, you have to set up your rituals. You have to do these things on a daily basis. You have to keep these little promises to yourself around how you're going to take care of yourself and how you are going to, you know, if you want to manifest more love, it's the small things that you do on a daily basis. It's not big. It's not the really, really big gestures. It's not the really, really big gestures that are about living in love. It's the small things that you do on a daily basis, the rituals. Because then if you're used to doing things on a daily basis that are really going to help you, then when the bigger things come or when the challenges happen, it's going to be a lot easier for you to manage those things, because you'll already have a ritual in place to be able to deal with those days when you don't love yourself as much as you feel like it, or maybe somebody that you care about has hurt you, or you know, maybe there's a family member that's upset you, or whatever. The ultimate goal is to make sure that whatever's going on in your life, that you are anchored in the living in love. You're anchored in living in self-love. Okay, it has to start with self-love. That's essentially what I'm going to be teaching you. Making sure that the love for self is beyond any other type of love. Because if you don't love yourself, essentially, you know, love for other people, love for your children, love for your family, love for your work, all of that kind of stuff is just not going to happen if you don't have those essential foundational things around loving yourself first. Okay, so the 7-day reset experience, which I'm going to be giving as a bonus for joining, is a really important part of it, because it's going to really help you to set up all your rituals and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, so that's really important. So let's talk about the 3 levels of the program now, because somebody was asking me some questions about that. There's 3 levels of the program. Okay, so the first one, okay, which is the first prime, it's called Prime Circle. The first prime one is basically if you just want a copy of you've got the book already and you just need some assistance, you want some support in just kind of breaking down the chapter and stuff like that. So for Prime, you will get the PDF with the heart work questions and the live stream videos that I'm going to be doing to accompany that particular chapter. Now, what I normally do to accompany the chapter throughout the month that it's actually the month of that particular topic, I normally do a lot of live streams and stuff that are in relation to that particular topic. Now, those live streams are not going to be available to the public the whole time. I'm not going to leave that out there. They'll only be available online for a certain period of time, and then they're going to be taken down. And then it's only going to be the people that are in the program that are going to have access permanently to those live streams. So if you are on Prime, which is £27 monthly, okay, you will get access to the heart work questions and the live videos specifically around that monthly topic. Now it is obviously subscription based, so you will just get those things in your inbox every month. So that's £27 monthly for the Prime Circle level. Okay, now the next one, which is Prime Plus, is the same as what you get in Prime, but what you're also getting is you get access to the bi-weekly Sister Circle sessions plus the masterclass. Okay. Now, essentially, you're going to be getting something happening every week, basically, because you're going to get the 2 weeks of the bi-weekly sessions. You're going to have 1 masterclass per month. That's 3 weeks. And then the other week, either you might get something that's pre-recorded, or you might get an audio, or you might get some, and obviously you're going to have all the other videos and stuff as well. So really, there's going to be something pretty much every week that's going to be happening. Okay, so, and Prime Plus, again, it's really important to kind of keep the space really intimate. Hi, thanks for joining. For those of you that have just joined, my name is June Allen from juneallen.net, and I teach black women how to heal from the impact of racism with racial sobriety and sacred self-love. So today's topic, I am talking about my Living in Love program, where the first class actually going to be starting tomorrow. So the Living in Love program is a 12-month subscription program for black women. And we're going to be talking about all things love. This is a book we're going to be studying. It's all about love by Bell Hooks. And tomorrow is the first session. So the Prime Plus is you get all of the stuff in is the same as the Prime stuff. So you get all the hard work, you get the audio, not the audios, the live stream videos. And plus you will get access to the bi-weekly check-in sessions as well, and the masterclass. Okay, and you'll get also the empowerment emails and all of that kind of stuff. So as I was saying, it is important for this class to be kept quite intimate. So the maximum of people that would like to be in this class is going to be 25. Okay, but what I'm doing is normally that level is normally at 97. What I'm going to be doing for the first 12 seats, we will be able to have access to that class for only $67 a month. Okay, so if you are really serious about joining the Living in Love program, then I would get in there, because when those 12 seats are gone at 67, it will be going back up to 97 a month. Okay, so that is the Prime Plus level. And the last level, which is the Premium Circle, the Premium Circle is all of the benefits of Prime Plus, but you also get you get one-to-one sessions with me. Okay, you get one-to-one sessions with me. Now the one-to-one sessions are going to be an opportunity for you to really think about how we can actually nurture your own personal process. Obviously you'll be able to talk to me directly about the stuff that's come up in the sister circle, the stuff that's come up in the book, any other personal stuff that you've got going on, and you'll just get the opportunity to share with that stuff with me one-on-one. And also you'll get access to any additional content that I have. I mean, I have loads of classes, I have loads of worksheets, I have loads of journal prompts, I've got so much content. And quite often when I work with people one-on-one, they don't just get the session. They often get other things that I email them as well. If they're having a certain issue about something in particular, I can email them another class, what they can watch during the week, or I can maybe say, look, this is your little assignment for you to do this week, and you will get that obviously tailored to whatever's going on for you. So, and the Premium Circle is $197 monthly. Okay. So, and I'm only accepting two sisters at this level to make sure that you get the appropriate support. My one-on-one time is very, very limited. So in order to make sure that you get the appropriate support that you need, I'm only accepting two sisters at this level, and you get 2 30-minute sessions with me a month for $197. Okay, so if you are interested in joining the Living in Love program, you can click the link in the bio, go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. So let me just quickly review the 3 sessions again, the 3 layers, just so you know. So Prime is literally just the heart work or homework. Heart work is the questions that I pull out of the chapter, okay, plus the live stream videos around that particular topic. It's available in the US, Sharon. It's all going to be online, which is one of the reasons why I moved it online. So I'm really, really excited about that, because I did have people saying to me, oh, I don't live in the UK. I gotta live in the UK. God, please, can I come? I love what you're doing. Please, can I come? That's the reason why I moved it online. So it's absolutely available to anyone across the globe. The classes on the live sister circles are going to be on Wednesday evenings. I would say probably around 8 o'clock, 8:30. I haven't, I'll have to see which time is going to be, best for the people that join. But I would say sort of 8:30. So I don't know which part of the US you live in. So if you're on Eastern Standard Time, you're going to be 5 hours behind. So yeah, I would definitely check that out. And I will take that into consideration, obviously, when I'm kind of setting up the times and stuff like that for people, to make sure that, there's not too much disruption around the times and stuff like that. So yeah, so the Prime Circle is just the one with the heart work questions and the videos, the videos for that particular topic. Prime Plus is the same as the Prime, but you get the bi-weekly sister circles and a masterclass as well, and you get the empowerment emails as well. The first 12 seats are going to be 67 versus 97, okay? And the premium level is where you get all of the stuff around Prime Plus, but you also get 2 30-minute sessions with me per month, okay? I'm only accepting 2 ladies in that one because I want to make sure that I'm giving you what you need around that. So that's $197 a month for the premium session when you get the one-on-one session with me as well. So I'm gonna if anybody else has got any other questions for me, drop them in the comments. I'm gonna answer some of the other questions now that the ladies have asked me about. So somebody has asked, let's have a look. Okay, can I join the program if I'm not on Facebook? Okay, so even though I do a lot of my Facebook lives and stuff on Facebook, what I normally do is I download the videos and then I upload them to YouTube. They're not always available to the public on YouTube, but if you're in the program, what I will do is I make them only available to people that are in my program. So, and then I send the people that are in the program the links. So you get a PDF with all of the live streams and all of the masterclasses and all the rest of it directly in a PDF. So no, you don't have to be on Facebook to actually join the program. Obviously, you know, there is a private Facebook group as well, and I sometimes not sometimes, but I do kind of, you know, talk to clients and stuff in there as well, and sometimes I'll do Facebook lives and stuff in there. But in terms of you know, the actual sister circle sessions and all of that kind of stuff, that is done via video conference. Okay, the sister circles are done via video conference. So what happens is I send you a link. You click on the link and it will take you straight into the conference, and it's quite nice because it's video as well. I know a lot of conferencing people do it via audio and stuff like that, which is, it's all right, but I think if you're doing something that's quite intimate like a sister circle, I think it's nice to be able to see people's faces. So the one that I'm using is actually live video, so we'll be able to see each other and, you know, and have conversations and stuff. So that really could be quite nice. So yeah, so you don't have to be on Facebook in order to join the program, because it's all, you know, you'll get all the links and everything in your inbox. You need an email address, obviously, so that I can let you know when things are happening, but you don't need to be on Facebook. Okay, so next question is, can I get access to the live circles in all of the joining options or in the Prime? This person was asking specifically on Prime. No, Prime is not available for the check-in sessions. It's for the Prime, which is the lowest level, the standard level. You will only get access to the actual heart work questions, the journal prompts, and the live streams, which I will restrict only for people that are in the program. So that's the Prime level. If you want to be able to join the circles, you have to join the Prime Plus, which is the Prime Plus is the one where you get the circle and the masterclass as well. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at some of the other questions. Why are the sessions only for black women? The sessions are only for black women because the conversations are about blackness. Okay? And we need to have that space. We need to have that space to be able to have honest conversations. I get this all the time from black women that have come to my workshops, that have done my circles and stuff like that, how much they appreciate having a safe space to be able to have conversations about things. Okay, and one of the reasons why I think that a lot of us are struggling with our healing process is that, you know, we're trying to do the kumbaya thing too early. We're trying to do the kumbaya thing too early. Okay, no, we need to have these spaces for us as black women to talk about blackness, to talk about the impact of racism on our blackness, to talk about our black femininity, to talk about our hair, to talk about, and to be able to have those conversations in a place that feels safe, where we're not always having to think about upsetting white people, or they might think that I'm this or that. I've been in spaces where people have done this kumbaya thing, and I've seen the conversation get very codependent around white people. I've seen the conversation get very codependent very quickly around white people. People start apologising for having feelings and feeling like they have to apologise to white people for feeling a certain way or thinking a certain way. I'm not having any of that. I'm not having any of that in this space, because at the end of the day, we need to be able to talk openly. And the space is not for, we're not sitting there talking about white people. At the end of the day, this is about us healing. It's not about white people. So yes, the space is only for black women, and I say that unapologetically. I say that unapologetically because I know what happens. I see the transformation, what happens when black women have a space to be able to have those conversations. When black women have those spaces to be able to talk openly and freely about things that to do with us. Okay, those boundaries are important. Those boundaries are important. And I always say to people as well, you know, some people might think this is a bit extreme, but this is how I think. We still live under the system of racism, okay? And if we're trying to heal as black women from living under the system of racism, well, let me reword it another way. If you were in a relationship where there was domestic violence, okay, you wouldn't ask the abuser to come to therapy with you so you can heal from it. You would tell that person, you would tell the victim that they need to have time out from that person. They would need to separate themselves from that person so they can do the healing work on themselves. That's what you would do. Now, to me, having a separate space to be able to talk about this stuff, for me, is a similar sort of thing, because we're still living under the system of racism. I'm not saying that every white person is a KKK member, but racism is so insidious. Racism is so insidious, and a lot of it is unconscious. So there's a lot of stuff that anybody that knows any of Robin DiAngelo's work around white fragility will understand what I'm saying, because a lot of it's unconscious, and a lot of it will, you know, a lot of conversations with white people around a lot of this stuff, it triggers them. It triggers white people. It triggers white women, and then what happens is, because it triggers them, it then makes the space unsafe for black women or black people to be able to have conversations that are safe, that are not centered around white feelings. So it is only for black women. Okay, it is only for black women, and I'm unapologetic about that. And actually, as well, you know, Bell Hooks, the book that we're using to anchor the conversation, her work is centered around, you know, black women and blackness. So it makes sense. It makes sense. Now, one of the other questions that I had was, you know, if I'm biracial of mixed origin, will I be welcome in the circle? Absolutely, yes, you will be welcome in the circle. It's for women from African descent. Okay, so if your biracial mix, if part of your biracial mix is of African descent, then you're welcome to join. You're welcome to join if your biracial mix is of African descent. Okay, we do talk about colorism and all that kind of stuff, and you know, we have had ladies in the group that have been biracial, and that has come up as in topic of conversation, and it's actually been really powerful. It's actually been really healing for us to be able to talk about that, and how that kind of how that impacts our ability to love each other as a group of sisters, and also, you know, how it impacts how we show up in relationships and stuff like that. Maybe there are women that are darker that feel ashamed, that carry a lot of shame because they've obviously had people demonize them and villainize their melanin, the shade, their darkness of their melanin, you know, and it's important for them to be able to talk about that. It's important for us as a group to be able to talk about that. So we're not just talking about the impact of racism from an external perspective, but also how racism becomes internalized and how we actually perpetuate and enable racism amongst ourselves. So, you know, the whole thing around living in love is not just about what racism does to us externally, but also what racism impacts us internally. Okay. So Addiction to Essentials, do you have a podcast? Yes, I do have a podcast. If you go onto the website, juneallen.net, or actually if you click heal.juneallen.net, there is a link that takes you back to the website, and then there is a category section on the right hand side that's got podcasts. I haven't done a podcast maybe about a month. So, I am planning to do some more podcasts on there. But yes, I do have a podcast, and I talk more about my recovery stuff actually in the podcast. There are some other bits and pieces on there as well, but there's some nice things. There's some really nice meditations on there. But yeah, if you let me know, I mean, if there's topics that you want me specifically to talk about, then by all means feel free to inbox me, or you can email me info@yardofgreatness.com with topics that you want me to chat about, and I'm more than happy to do that. I've loved doing the podcast. Actually, I haven't done it for a bit, but I will be picking that up again. So let's have a look. So thank you. Right. So you are actually in recovery, right? So there's somewhere else where I can send you, which is even better. If you go to theblacksteps.com, I talk specifically about recovery, and there were some recovery audios in there. This year I did I did a racial sobriety conference. Yes, I did a racial sobriety conference, and there's loads of information in there specifically about racial sobriety. So 100% go to theblacksteps.com, and there is some information in there. And I am going to be don't tell anyone, but I'm actually going to be writing. I'm going to be doing some stuff around the actual steps themselves as well next year. Doing the questions around the steps and all of that kind of stuff. So make sure that you join. There's some free audios and stuff you can sign up for. And then obviously you'll be on my email list, and then I can send you all of that stuff. But so that is a huge thing as well, actually, around black people in recovery or people of colour in recovery. The rooms are very white. The rooms are very white. And so it is important for us to be able to have that conversation. Let's have a look. So recovery is so different for black people. 100%. It is very different. And that is why I share a lot about, why I always talk about my recovery and stuff like that as well. And I say that at the beginning of the broadcast as well, because there are so few black women or black people in recovery. There are a lot more now, but there never used to be that many. And so which is why I found it difficult in the beginning when I first started talking about this stuff. But I'm a lot more open about my recovery now, because there are so few black women that are in recovery doing this work. And it is off-putting, because you don't want to sit in a meeting with a load of white people and talk about your racial sobriety, because it triggers people. It triggers people, and they don't know how to behave. I've seen it in meetings. They get really triggered. They get really, really triggered, and it's frustrating. But if you go to theblacksteps.com, there's also stuff about there's some of the part of the free stuff as well is how to set up a people of colour meeting based on whatever fellowship you're in. There is information in there about how you can set up your own people of colour meeting. If you want support around that, okay, just inbox me if you want more support around that. But go to that website, and there's loads of information in there I put on there about recovery for black people. Okay, so thank you so much for revealing that, because I'll definitely be able to support you in that. So inbox me if you need any more support around the recovery thing. Okay, great. So back to the question. So do I need to read the book before I attend? No, you don't need to read the book before you attend, because we read it live in the session. It's very powerful reading it live in the session, and we find that, I don't know, just kind of doing it at that level. You're welcome, Addiction to Ascension. I appreciate it. It's an honour to be able to serve. I love my fellows in recovery. I get so excited when I see black people in recovery doing it. So thank you for doing the work. Thank you for doing the work and spreading the message. Yes, you don't need to have read the book if you come into the session. Okay, so what about if next question is, what about if I miss the previous chapter, when I come in sort of a couple of months down the road or something like that? Well, obviously, you can do that. But like I was saying before, is yes, we're reading the chapter, but also it is a personal development program. So even though the book itself is just anchoring the topic of the conversation, so even if you missed 2 months before and you've just joined the subscription program, I don't know, in month 3 or something like that, you will get the copy of the previous month. You get a copy of the previous month. Not if you come in at the Prime level, but if you come in at Prime Plus, you will get a copy of the previous month. Plus the actual current month itself, so you'll actually really get 2 months if you come in at Prime Plus. So you can then obviously going forward. Then obviously you just carry on as a subscription right until we finish the book in November. You can definitely join if you can't do it this month and you want to come next month. Then you can definitely jump in and do that. Okay, so where is it being held? Obviously, the sister before was asking about where it's going to be held. All the sessions are now going to be held online, because I did get quite a lot of people that were asking me about, oh, I don't live in the UK and stuff like that. Can I come? I love your work. So it's going to be, all of it's going to be delivered online. Okay, and yeah, you can buy the book from anywhere. Normally, you can get it on Amazon. Obviously, if you click the link in the bio, go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. There is a link there where you can buy the book on Amazon, or you can go to, and also there's a website there as well if you want to learn more about who Bell Hooks is. She's an American author, a feminist, a social activist, and the focus of her writing has been the intersectionality of race, capitalism, and gender, and what she describes as their ability to produce and perpetuate systems of oppression and class domination. She has published over 30 books. She's published over 30 books and numerous scholarly articles, appeared in documentary films, and participated in public lectures. She has addressed race, class, and gender in education, art, history, sexuality, mass media, and feminism. And you can go directly to her website at bellhooksinstitute.com and find out more about her. So I think that's it, actually, in terms of questions and stuff like that. So if anybody else has got any other questions they want to ask about the Living in Love program, let me know. You can drop them in the comments below if you watch it on the replay, or you can inbox me, or you can send me an email at info@yardofgreatness.com. So that is the Living in Love program Q&A. The first class is tomorrow. The doors are already open. It's live. So so you say, what do I think about feminism in the black community? How long have you got, love? In a nutshell, right? And I know there's probably a lot of people that won't agree with me. Okay, but here's what I think. I'm black first. I'm black first before I'm a woman. So even though I know Bell Hooks does talk a lot about feminism, and it does come up in topic of conversation every now and then. But for me personally, I don't really talk that much about feminism as such in relation to my work, because I'm going to be discriminated first as a black woman I'm going to be discriminated first as a black person before I am discriminated against as a woman. It doesn't mean to say I don't think that feminism is an issue, because it is. But for me, and also there's also that thing of, I don't really get involved in a lot of conversations around feminism, because for me, white women, when they're having it's for them. I don't know how else to say it, but at the end of the day, when white women have got their stuff going on and black women are getting harmed, do they speak up for us? They don't speak up for us. So I don't really have those conversations. I'll have those conversations in the context of, if I'm in a space with black women, and the conversation might come up around, relationships and stuff like that within the community, within the context of blackness. Do you know what I mean? But in terms of feminism, as when we're talking about it on a global thing, I don't really talk about it, because at the end of the day, I think it's another tactic, I think, to kind of come between the black man and the black woman, to be honest with you. And for the majority of it, I think that feminism is about white women arguing with their white men. It ain't got nothing to do with us. And I'm black first, so that's the priority for me. The priority for me is being black, because at the end of the day, that's the bigger fish for us to fry. That's the bigger fish for us to fry. And, feminism is kind of like another one of those subtopics that we talk about. But in general, I always talk about, this conversation does come up. It does come up. So, thank you for asking that, because I know there are people that will ask those questions. But I always focus on the blackness first, because that's the first thing that I'm discriminated against. That's the first thing that I'm discriminated against. So that's where my focus is. The feminism conversation. We have those conversations in the groups sometimes, but not, it's not really dominated by feminism. It's dominated by blackness and the impact of that. The impact of racism being internalized. There's more people that are in pain that I work with. They're in pain because of internalized racism than being a woman. That's my honest opinion. Of all the years that I've been doing this, most of the women that I wish I've worked with men as well. Most of the people that I work with, they're in pain because of their blackness. You know, let's have a look. I'm not gonna lie. I was trying. I know. Do you not see me spluttering, going, "Oh, I'm not gonna answer this." But you know what? That's my truth. That's my truth. You know, that's my truth. And it doesn't mean that I think that, you know, if feminism is your thing, you know, I'm not judging you for that. That's your jam, and that's fine. But for me personally, my focus is always on blackness, because that's where I'm going to get discriminated first. That's where I'm going to get discriminated first, and that's you know, I go by what, you know, the people that I work with, what are their pain points, and their pain points are, I'm in pain. I'm in pain inside my black body. For whatever reason, I'm in pain inside this black body. I'm being discriminated against because of this black body. I'm experiencing colorism because of the shade of my blackness. Do you know what I mean? And so that's what I work with, and that's been my experience, and that's what I work with. You know, feminism can be discussed at another table, but this table is for talking about the impact of racism and what we have to deal with in terms of that. So, you know, thank you for asking the question. I've answered it as honestly as I can. You know, that's me. And a lot of people that know my work know that I am, you know, pro-black. That doesn't mean that I hate white people. It just means that, you know, I live under the system of racism, and my mission is to deal with the impact of that. It doesn't mean that I don't like white people. It just means that I'm anti-white supremacy. There's a difference, you know. So if you've got any other questions at all, send me an email at info@guideofgreatness.com, or you can inbox me, or if you feel comfortable, you can drop a comment in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I really do appreciate you choosing to spend time with me. If you know somebody who is interested in joining the Living in Love program, you can tag them, send them an email, let them know that the program is there if they're looking for a really safe space to be able to heal, to be able to explore love in all of its different shades and colors and textures. We're going to be talking about love for self, love for culture, maternal love. We're going to be talking about love of friendship. Obviously, we're going to be talking about romance and all of that kind of stuff as well. So we're going to be talking about all different types of love for the next 12 months, and we're going to be leaning into love. Okay, we're going to be leaning into love. So if you are willing and you are ready to experience more love in your life, then click the link in the bio, go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Addiction to Ascension, please send me an email and let me know how you've got on in terms of the Black Step stuff. Okay, I'll be looking out for your message. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye.